Previously on Yogi's Garage.
I did my final exploratory surgery on Olaf. Sadly, there's really nothing more I can do with this car beyond my current capabilities. There's nothing more I could do for Olaf.
But you're Yogi. I mean, your whole slogan is, let's fix it, so fix him!
He's suffering from a catastrophic oil pressure problem that's a fatal flaw in these 2007 Audis.
Can't you just pull his motor out and, I don't know, do some magic stuff that you do and fix it?
I'm losing him! I'm losing him! Olaf! Olaf! Oh, Olaf! And now, the continuation of Yogi's Garage.
The prognosis is good. I've ID'd the low oil pressure problem as being a clogged pickup. Unfortunately, this caused oil starvation that led to a destroyed cylinder head that you see here before me. I've refreshed just about everything on Olaf's engine, but at this point all I need to do is put the engine and transmission back together and put it back in the car and start it up. I think we're out of the woods, so let's go talk to the family. Hi, Yogi Mama.
Dr. Yogi, how's Olaf?
Well, it's too early to tell. The prognosis is looking better.
Okay.
So far, I've removed the engine out of poor Olaf, and I'm halfway through the rebuild process. I should know more by the end of the second part of this video series.
You didn't lose any bolts, did you?
No. Yes. Maybe. I mean, he's getting all new bolts anyway.
That sounds expensive. How much is that going to cost?
You have insurance, right?
Of course I do, but it doesn't cover a full engine refresh when the doctor suddenly gets WIT syndrome.
WIT syndrome? Are you suggesting that I may have gone overboard with trying to repair poor Olaf?
No, I know that while I'm in there syndrome and mechanical doctors like you, they go hand in hand. You can't help yourself.
That may be true, but I assure you that you'll be happy with the repairs that I've done.
I'll be happy when he starts.
You and me both. You and me both.
Yo, microphone check, make it a microphone check. Give it a microphone, I make it a microphone dead. Don't step to me, newbie, I could truly be moody. I could have played the French in the movies. I've been a part-time shadow cat, part-time. That is not a guy that I would ever want to try to battle rap. Snap, crackle, pop, mind fried to a crisp, make an MC into a wide-eyed lunatic.
What I'm installing here are oil sprayers. They're pointed into the cylinder and squirt a thin film of oil on the cylinder walls when the pistons are in their upstroke. This is an often forgotten piece or part that is, if you forget it and you put the pistons in, you're going to take the pistons out because you won't be able to get to the oil sprayers typically once the pistons are in the cylinder. So you got to watch out for that. The main crank bearings. These were kind of tough to get my hands on. They're expensive. They run about $15 to $25 a pop for a thin piece of polished metal, but they're very important, obviously. These, I ended up getting one that was damaged, and I ended up having to get another one sent to me, and it took a couple of weeks. I think this part of the entire engine rebuild made me the most nervous. I had never done anything like this before. I'd never been this deep inside of an engine, and having to repair crankshaft bearings, or replace them I should say, was a challenge because there's a lot of precision involved with measuring and making sure that the tolerances between the two metal and the bearing, between the metal and the bearings is within spec, otherwise you're wasting your time here. That clanking sound was really exciting. and a little nerve-wracking at the same time because I didn't want to hear an additional clang of a bearing that may have popped off or slipped. My camera's messed up here, so I didn't get the first two piston installs, but they were time consuming. I was still getting used to using this tool. I had the wrong size ring around it, so I ended up getting the smaller one, and that worked out perfectly, and they just pop right in, just like that. So the trick here is to get 2 of the 4 pistons in their lowest setting. That way you can put the caps on each one, turn the crank, and then the other 2 pistons will be in their lowest position, and you can put the caps on those as well. Down. Turn bolts 90 degrees further. All right, starting here. So 90 degrees. Sorry, camera. Okay. In, baby! Yeah, this is one of many little slowdowns to a project when you bust a nut right here, and not in a good way. No. That's the new oil pickup that I'm replacing the clogged one with. All right, it's time to complete the bottom end of Olaf here. And what I plan on doing is buttoning up the windage tray here, and then flipping it over and getting the timing sprocket on, as well as the front main crankshaft seal. So making progress, let's keep it going. Okay, 9 Newton meters. Okay, this is where it went bad the last time. Okay, 9 Newton meters. Okay, it's in there. So now we're going to work on oil pump sprocket. We're going to get this thing timed up where it needs to be. There's a flat spot on the pump here that I need to line up. There. Okay. Because you got a torque to yield. Okay. There. All right. That's a 90-degree turn. Now I gotta put the cover back on. And it should just pop right into place. Like that. It's important to get all the grease and brake cleaner off of the surface before you put the sealing flange back on. Okay, I've got a nice bead set up here. Not my best work, but it is what it is. And now we're gonna line up the dowels and then just get it straight on there. All right, torqued. All right, I got it in as far as I can with my hand. Now I use a dead blow with a socket. You notice the acoustic difference there. Basically meaning I'm completely seated now. And that's how you install a front main seal. By the way, I'm using a Victor Rein's brand sealant. It's much more manageable than the OEM Audi brand. Sealing this oil sump really was a pain in the butt. Squeezing that out of that tube for that long a period, it was right. You know, guys, leave a comment in the description below. Let me know if there's a better way of squeezing the gasket out of this tube, because it was a major pain in the butt. Okay, no time to waste. I'm ensuring that it's flush on the back of the engine block there, because that's in the manual. There are so many bolts on this oil sump pan. As you can see, as I start tightening, I'm tightening in a star pattern from the center out. And it's just to make sure that you apply proper pressure as it's torquing down. You don't want it to warp on you. Now that should be the last time I have to button and unbutton this oil pan for Olaf. Now we can work on the top. Okay, so where are we? We are ready to put the cylinder head back on top of the engine block. And as you can see, everything is prepped and ready to go. What I'm doing here is just getting off any of the remainder of the oil or cleaning material, anything, gasket, but these should be ready to go. And then my pistons, I think I'm gonna lube up the pistons just a little bit more. But one of the things that I want you to take away from this video here is take a look at cylinder 1 here. It is not at top dead center. The repair manual says to get everything to top dead center and then back it off slightly. And I believe that's so that when you put the cylinder head back on to the deck here, the valves that are semi-open will have a little bit of play before they come in contact with the piston. So that's what I'm doing here, is doing some final cleanup. I have the cylinder head gasket here. It's in perfect condition.
I've been taking care of it. I've been making sure that there's no additives or chemicals or anything that could have gotten onto it. It up to the dowels and setting it into place like that. But again, before I move forward, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to lube up the cylinders one more time with assembly lube because I want this thing to be nice and smooth when it starts up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first.
Ah yes, Marvel's Mystery Oil works great for this need here. Just put it on a rag and just slathered it all over the cylinder walls.
There. Okay. We're on the deck. Okay, now that they're all hand tightened, I'm going to torque these down. The final torque is 40 Newton meters, and I'm going to tighten it half of that first. So I'm going to do 20 Newton meters, same pattern, inside out, and then I'm going to double back at 40, mark my bolts, and then do the half turn. It's not a quarter turn, it's a half turn. Okay, so now I've done 20 Newton meters on each one, and the next step is to do 40 Newton meters, and then the final would be the 180 turns. So I'm going to go to 40 now. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and mark these bolts. Okay, so we're doing 180 degrees. First one's in at 180. Oof. Three. There we go. That's good. All right. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That is torqued to spec. The next thing is to put the camshafts in with the appropriate pieces and then cap it off, put the gunk down, seal it. We are just about there. Now it's time to put assembly lube on the journals here. Everywhere the camshaft is gonna sit. Now I'm not putting any on this final journal, if you will, because that's where the plastic cap goes to seal everything together. Again, you want these lobes and these lobes, this is your exhaust side, this is your intake side, you want these to be facing each other. So now I got to turn them 90 degrees. I think I'm at the point of no return. The cams are where they're supposed to be relatively. I'll finish fine-tuning that in a second, but now I'm gonna hit these 90 degrees, boom, 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 and wrap up the cylinder head part. Okay. You know, I just kind of prefer to get them all in the first row where they need to be. So now I got to drive in the cap here, which seals it on the intake side, and then I'm going to put in a camshaft seal as well. So the first thing I need to do is get probably a socket big enough to drive that in 1 to 2 millimeters. But it's the same exact seal as what's on the front main seal here, so it shouldn't be that difficult to just pop this in with the guide and get it on there, and then finish it up with a 36 millimeter socket. Just hammer it straight on until it's seated. I'll go ahead and do that. Get that in the spot, and then there. Okay, I'm gonna get my socket now. All right. So the only thing left, and I say the only thing, but I got to put the valve cover and all of that on there, but I got to get this thing in time now. So next step is to get the water pump in and get all of the pulleys and the tensioner in place so that we can start putting the poly V-belt back in and get this engine timed.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's for a future episode. So what'd you think? If you liked it, be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down, but be sure to tell me why in the comments. I told you taking an engine apart is way easier than putting one back together. Despite setbacks with shipping and issues with broken bolts, I think overall I'm in a pretty good spot. I still have a lot more to do though. I've got to install the manifolds and get this engine in time, but that's a future episode. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, which is just about everybody, be sure to do that as well. Thanks for watching Yogi's Garage. We'll see you next time.
Yo, microphone check, make it a microphone check. Give it a microphone, I make it a microphone dead. Don't step to me, newbie, I could truly be moody. I could have played the French in the movies. I've been a part-time chef.